Hello, lovely people. Welcome to today's episode of Reality TV News. Reminding you, we post videos daily, so if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, smash that subscribe button so that you don't miss any important update. So imagine this. You've got a huge reality TV show, some of the biggest names involved, and everything grinds to a halt.
Not because of the usual trauma.
Exactly. Not a scandal, not a big fight, but a filming permit. It sounds almost mundane.
It really does.
Today, we're digging into this pretty bizarre bureaucratic fight between Melissa and Joe Gorga, from Real Housewives of New Jersey, and a local town.
Franklin Lakes, yeah.
We really want to unpack the specifics of this complaint and figure out what it might mean for, well, a brand new show. We're talking Melissa and Joe Gorga. They've actually filed a legal motion against Franklin Lakes in New Jersey. They're alleging the borough basically didn't issue their filming permit fast enough. It's kind of a wild story, isn't it?
It absolutely is.
Like, who expects a small-town permit issue to cause this kind of problem for a network?
You really wouldn't. And the legal complaint itself, it was filed back on May 21st, 2025, and it really lays out how urgent things were.
Okay.
Their lawyer, William J. Rush, he addressed the judge, Honorable Darren T. DiBiase, and the language used was that the defendants are wrongfully withholding and/or delaying the permit.
Wow, okay. So strong words.
Very strong. And filing that urgent motion, it shows they weren't just like complaining informally, they were trying to force the borough's hand.
Because they had a deadline.
A very tight one. You see, the documents show they were under contract to film at their house on June 6th, 2025.
Okay, June 6th.
Which meant they needed all the permit paperwork filed with the borough clerk by May 30th, 2025.
Wait, May 30th? That's only about 9 days after they filed the complaint.
Exactly. It's a ridiculously tight turnaround for any TV production. Think about all the logistics involved.
That schedule sounds incredibly stressful. Is that kind of last-minute rush normal in reality TV? Or does it maybe suggest something else was going on, maybe a planning issue?
It's definitely not the ideal way to do things. Usually, production teams try to lock this stuff down way in advance to avoid, well, exactly this kind of expensive delay.
Right.
So the fact they needed this urgent motion, it could mean the network set a really aggressive schedule, or maybe there were just unexpected problems with the permit process itself.
Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe from the town's perspective, there were legitimate reasons for a delay, especially if it's high-profile filming that might affect the neighbors.
That's always possible. There are two sides to these things.
Definitely. But this whole permit thing, it isn't happening in isolation, is it?
Yeah.
There's a direct link to a pretty new Bravo show.
Oh, yes, the wife swap connection.
Wife Swap. The Real Housewives edition. Rumors were flying for like almost 2 months before this that Melissa and Joe were going to be starring in it. And the complaint itself seems to suggest that this permit issue might have actually stopped them from filming their part.
And connecting those dots really underscores how high the stakes were here. This wasn't just some small side project.
No, it sounded like a big deal.
It was shaping up to be a major crossover event, bringing together housewives from different cities. You had other names floated for this rumored wife swap show, too.
Oh, yeah. Who else?
Well, reports mention Emily Simpson from Orange County, Dr. Wendy Osefo from Potomac, and Angie Katsaneves from Salt Lake City.
Wow. Okay, so a real mix.
Yeah. So you can see how a problem with one family's permit in New Jersey could potentially mess up the whole production schedule involving stars from all over the country.
It really clarifies just how complex these shoots are with so many moving parts. And as things stand now, based on the information we have, it's actually still unclear if the Gorgas ever got that permit in time for the June 6th filming date.
We don't know the final outcome yet.
No. Next update we have about Tom Girardi and Erika Jayne's fallout.
Okay, another big one.
Shifting to another high-stakes legal drama, yeah. We're talking about Tom Girardi's friends, who were reportedly furious at Erika Jayne, alleging she left him to rot during his hour of need.
Oof.
This saga just keeps getting more intense.
And the sources clarify the gravity of the situation here. Tom was sentenced to over 7 years in prison for embezzlement. That context is absolutely crucial to understanding the intense anger from his friends. Their outrage stems directly from his severe legal consequences and, the financial devastation he caused.
The accusations from Tom's friends are pretty damning. A source claims Erika ran for cover and left him to rot and ditched him the moment the money ran dry.
Wow.
These friends are apparently looking forward to that $24 million lawsuit against Erika from Tom's bankruptcy trustee, believing she should be held responsible for allegedly using embezzled money. And they reportedly don't buy her Miss Innocent act one bit.
The sources depict a clear, almost irreconcilable division of sentiment regarding Erika's actions. You have Tom's friends feeling completely abandoned,
Right.
while Erika's legal team paints a very different picture.
Yeah. On Erika's side, her attorney, Jim Wilkes, has offered a different perspective entirely. He stated that Erika is experiencing a wave of emotions and is emotionally destroyed, but has kind of compartmentalized everything.
Okay.
Wilkes used a powerful analogy, asking, if someone you loved and trusted broke every bit of trust you had in them and didn't even tell you, covered it up, how would you feel?
That's a point.
He also acknowledged that Tom did some stupid stuff and deserves to be punished for his actions. That's a very human angle from her lawyer. Next update we have about Mauricio Umansky's lawsuit against NAR.
Okay.
Mauricio Umansky, known from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, has refiled an antitrust lawsuit against the National Association of Realtors trade body.
Right.
This isn't just about a reality TV personality. It could have huge implications for the industry.
Yeah, the sources illuminate the core of this dispute. Mauricio's lawsuit, originally filed back in 2020, pertains to his now-defunct platform, the Pocket Listing Service, or PLS. The NAR's trade body allegedly blocked PLS from operating, which basically set the stage for this high-stakes legal challenge over market control.
Mauricio's argument is clear. He accuses NAR of anti-competitive policies that directly damaged his off-market listings database.
Okay.
He states these policies required listings to be shared publicly within one business day, effectively making truly private listings virtually impossible. A spokesperson for the Pocket Listing Service says the lawsuit is about defending innovation and consumer choice, responding to a clear demand for privacy, flexibility, and discretion, which was met with coordinated resistance from NAR.
So disruption versus the establishment.
Pretty much. Mauricio himself stated that restricting what we can and cannot do stops creativity and it stops innovation. He genuinely believes PLS was a much-needed solution for high-profile clients who value discretion. He sounds quite passionate about it.
The sources depict NAR's counter-argument, stating that PLS just ceased communications and that their clear cooperation policy actually promotes transparency and competition. They also maintain that office-exclusive options were and still are available, so it highlights that ongoing tension between traditional practices and these new disruptive models.
Interestingly, the NAR has made some changes since the original filing, now allowing certain listings to be kept off-market for more than 24 hours.
Oh, okay. So maybe some movement.
Maybe. Next, we are going to talk about some big news out of the Valley.
Oh, yeah.
Kristen Doute and Luke Broderick recently debuted their 2-week-old daughter, Kaia Lily, in Us Weekly.
Wow. Okay.
And what's wild is that this debut happened right as the Valley was showing their Hawaiian engagement.
Oh, perfect timing.
Talk about perfectly timed content.
What the sources reveal here isn't just like a life cycle update. It's almost a masterclass in leveraging reality TV's narrative arc, you know?
The engagement itself was apparently a total surprise. Luke orchestrated this whole beautiful proposal in Hawaii. And Kristen's reaction was just pure shock and joy. She called it the easiest yes she'd ever given.
That's sweet.
And the group around them put in a huge effort to keep it secret.
Yeah.
Zach Wickham even made custom T-shirts, which I thought was, a really fun detail.
Yeah.
But even with all that joy, there was a little bit of drama brewing.
Oh, always.
Janet Caperna apparently opted out of the celebration, and her husband Jason wasn't too pleased about it. And Luke, poor guy, was under a lot of stress during the planning, plus his grandmother was ill at the time.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That brings up a really interesting point, though. How much of that desire for privacy can truly exist when you've signed up for a reality show? Like, do you think it's a genuine struggle for them, or is it just sort of part of the narrative they craft for the cameras? The sources really illustrate Kristen's push and pull with privacy, while clearly, wanting to share these huge life events.
That's precisely the tension, isn't it?
Yeah.
Kristen definitely talks about wanting privacy, but then debuting her daughter in Us Weekly or having the engagement filmed.
Yeah.
It shows that inherent conflict. It feels less about total privacy and maybe more about managing the perception of sharing while still controlling the narrative,
Controlling the story.
And moving from that engagement high to the raw realities of new parenthood. Kristen has been incredibly open. She said she feels really lucky and that Kaia is the most perfect thing, describing this incredibly connected feeling.
That's lovely.
But it wasn't without its scares. She described a really terrifying pregnancy scare involving bleeding and an ER visit.
Oh, wow.
Yet her actual labor was surprisingly easy. a 14-hour thing with an epidural. And you really feel her honesty when she talks about that early parenthood exhaustion, that initial high five with Luke right after Kaia arrived, followed by waking up later covered in milk with a screaming baby.
Oh, the reality hits.
Totally. She's also shared her hopes for Kaia's personality, like wishing her to be more adventurous and less anxious, like Luke.
Interesting.
She noted Luke's remarkably calm and positive impact on Kaia. Apparently, her tears literally disappear when he holds her.
Oh, that's amazing.
And Kristen herself. She says she's learned a valuable lesson in patience.
Well, yeah.
And for those wondering about Kaia making her debut on screen, Kristen has confirmed she will be seen on The Valley Season 3.
Okay, so she's in.
Yep. And they've also mentioned plans for a second child, saying they'd love one if it's possible and are thinking about not waiting too long to try.
Good for them.
Next update we have about David Beador's ongoing legal battles. This story has taken some truly wild turns as he has just filed for divorce and a temporary restraining order against his estranged wife, Lesley Beador.
Wow. This whole back and forth isn't just like a typical messy divorce. It's a really stark illustration of how prior accusations of abuse can just boomerang in court.
Totally.
The sources show David actively kind of weaponizing the previous restraining order against Lesley, basically flipping the narrative by echoing her own allegations of financial exploitation and physical abuse. It feels like a tactical legal move as much as a personal one.
It's an incredibly aggressive filing. David's June 17th request it's a lot. He's asking the court for Lesley to stay at least 100 yards away from him, his home, his business.
Okay.
Except for custody exchanges for their 4-year-old daughter, Anna Love. He's also requested she be ordered to attend a batterer intervention program.
Oh.
And he demands Lesley move out of his Newport Beach home, saying he owns it, and she's currently staying at their place in Montana for the summer.
Right.
What's more, David has made some really strong allegations, claiming Lesley married him for money, stating it's a fact, and that she uses Anna to extract more money from him.
David's claims in the source material depict a relationship just fraught with these allegations of financial exploitation and repeated physical abuse. Yep. It paints a truly disturbing picture.
He details one specific incident of alleged abuse, claiming that before a planned New York trip, Lesley apparently picked a fight with him over a male friend's compliment.
Okay.
David states that Lesley physically attacked me, gouging large chunks of skin out of my arm. He also alleges she shoved her fingers into my mouth and then, kind of bizarrely, claimed he bit her. David further claims Lesley forcefully slapped him 4 times. And adding to this whole mess, Lesley allegedly accused David of being gay, which he denies.
Okay.
And he suspects this accusation was retaliation because he canceled an expensive necklace purchase.
Wow.
The level of detail here is pretty shocking.
Yeah, the sources clarify the severity of these alleged incidents, providing very specific, almost cinematic details.
Right. And beyond the restraining order, David also filed for divorce, seeking joint custody of Anna.
Okay.
He's requesting their prenup be enforced and is offering Lesley $10,000 per month in support for 2 years.
Right.
Next update we have about Demi Engemann's leaked messages. Alleged messages between Demi Engemann and Marciano Brunette have been leaked. And this is particularly juicy because Demi had previously denied any romantic involvement with him.
Yeah, what's really striking here is that stark contrast between Demi's public denial and the actual content of these messages. The sources illustrate this backstory, where Marciano himself suggested Demi tried to silence him to stop her husband finding out about their interactions. And even a castmate claimed there were inappropriate interactions at Vanderpump Villa. It sets a very different scene.
And the alleged message exchange, dated October 3rd, is quite something. It starts with Demi's cryptic messages. Get excited, ha, baptized by fire, and is this how you sweet talk all the ladies?
Okay. Playful, maybe.
Marciano's playful response denied sweet-talking her. Then Demi allegedly wrote, "Lol hate you," before sharing a photo of oysters with the comment, "Gonna hurl." Marciano replied with, "Lol don't be a baby." But this is where it really takes a turn.
That's a go.
Demi allegedly wrote, and I'm quoting directly here, "It's no different than swallowing centimeters, and I wholeheartedly stand by that."
Whoa. Okay. Didn't see that coming.
Right. Marciano's reaction was, "Ha ha, Sue, fun fact about Demi doesn't swallow?" Got it. I'm never going to be able to eat oysters again and not think about that.
Huh. Understandable.
To which Demi allegedly responded, "Ha ha ha. Ruined it forever. Enjoy, Hasey."
Wow.
And Marciano's final retort was, "I hate you, lol." Right.
The sources depict a remarkably different narrative than the one Demi presented in that May interview, where she explicitly denied being attracted to Marciano and said she wore her ring and mentioned her marriage constantly.
Yeah.
This leak really puts her previous statements into question for the audience.
Next update we have about Porsha Williams and Phaedra Parks' feud.
Ah, the classics.
Right. Porsha Williams is clapping back at Phaedra Parks' recent comments about that false rumor regarding Kandi Burruss and Todd Tucker.
This feud just never dies, does it?
Never.
The sources illuminate that history where Phaedra spread that false rumor on the Season 9 reunion, then later confessed it wasn't first-hand info, which really set the stage for this current lingering conflict.
Right. Phaedra recently did an interview on the Jason Lee show where she claims she was punished for something no one even saw me do, likening it to a game of telephone. She also stated that she and Porsha are friends again and that she still loves Porsha.
Okay.
Phaedra's view was that she was ready to leave the show anyway, and as she put it, God will make a decision for you, implying her exit was sort of divinely guided. It's interesting how she frames it.
Yeah, what's fascinating here is the distinct difference in how each of them recounts and frames the past.
Totally.
The source depicts Phaedra's perspective on her exit as this divinely guided decision and her belief that not everything was shown, allowing her to control her own narrative even years later. It's a classic case of trying to reshape public memory.
Definitely. And Porsha's direct social media response to Phaedra's comments was swift and pretty pointed.
Oh, I bet.
Porsha stated that Phaedra already apologized for telling the lie, both at the reunion and afterward.
Okay, setting the record straight.
Exactly. Porsha also very clearly affirmed her own accountability to Kandi for repeating the claim, and she made a public call for them to move forward by truly learning from past mistakes. There's a clear emphasis on taking responsibility there.
The sources illustrate the audience's strong reaction, too, with many fans in the comments still holding Phaedra accountable for the original rumor and her lack of full transparency.